hear the play-by-play for that one.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be back with you, Anish. This is a 2 of 3 man handsome hour,
Indeed,
coming off a big victory.
we
So,
have the link out to the other degenerates, and so either they arrive, they may arrive just randomly in this, or it's just going to be the traditional 2-man in a bucket.
yep.
Yeah,
Regardless, it's gonna be magic. It always is.
indeed, as it always is with you, my friend.
Yeah, amen. I'm your host, Boiler Dowd. This is the Handsome Hour. I'm here with my pal Anish.
We're handsome.
Yeah, we're handsome together, and
Often.
we're both pretty.
I just said we were both doing the same lean. We were both doing the same one-handed
There we go.
lean there for all of
Good.
these live listeners. I know
Yeah,
we're into it.
we're locked and loaded. But I said it on the quick cast, Anish. Purdue wins 30-21 over Oregon State. It seems like not a big deal because we all thought they'd win. But what I didn't know coming in, I didn't know that Oregon State would be somewhat legit. That's a team that didn't make mistakes, which is pretty exciting to see Purdue do what they did.
Yeah.
And
So talk to me about that, because to me, I think they took care of an opponent that is not very good, and they took care of them in actually. I mean, like the thing that felt the best to me was down like was finishing the game. The way that they finished the game after about 2.5 quarters of like fine. You know what I mean? Like it was, it wasn't stellar. You had the opposite reaction, which was the longer you are thinking about this Purdue game, which, you tend to stare at the ceiling in the middle of the night and just start thinking about
right. I don't
Purdue
sleep.
football.
Yeah.
The longer you think about it, the better you're feeling about this, which is not the way that things usually go in the Boiler Dowd mind.
It is not. It is not. And I think the big thing is that we've watched bad football the last decade, right?
Many
We
people
know.
have said we are connoisseurs of bad football.
Right, exactly. We understand all of its nuances and flavors.
Oh yeah,
And I don't think
this
Oregon
tastes
State
like
is that bad.
barnyard.
What's that?
It tastes like barnyard.
It does. It
It's like
tastes, it smells. You can't get the funk out of your mouth afterwards.
sulfur. That's what people say when it tastes like butt, right?
Yes,
That's
yes,
what people say.
sulfur.
Oh, this tastes like sulfurous.
That's the polite way of saying it. Yeah.
It tastes like butt.
Yeah, and it does. The brand of
Bad football is what
football
you're saying.
that
Okay.
we have watched for really. I always say 10 years. It's really doesn't it go back 15, 13, something like that?
Not the whole time, but many of the times.
No, not the whole time. Absolutely not. But much of the time. That's correct. That's a correct, accurate statement. My point is that when I look at that Oregon State team, what I see is like I can't even say a Danny Hope type team, because Danny Hope teams made a lot of mistakes, right? Daryl Hazel.
I can confirm that. Yes.
Right. Daryl Hazel teams couldn't do anything really all that well, right? Oregon State, though, to me, looked like a team that in the trenches they had a lot of size. They had I'd say a pair of quarterbacks that were solid, maybe reminiscent over some of the quarterbacks that Purdue has had, which is a good thing. They had very speedy players on the outside. They were tiny, but they were speedy. They had a solid running back. They had guys that didn't fumble, and they had quarterbacks that generally put it on the money. And the other thing they did, which I thought was really interesting, is they put pressure on Purdue's defense by going for it on fourth over and over and over. They extended drives, right? And that Coletto guy, by the way, I have a hard time not giving him a massive amount of credit and respect.
It would have been just a perfect poetry if Coletto would have come in and beaten Purdue, huh?
Yeah, and we did some on the fly research. There is no relation, thank God.
No,
it wouldn't have been even worse feeling, right?
It turns out Coletto came in, showed a little bit of promise, and couldn't get it.
And then couldn't get the job done. Exactly. And he has good size, just like Coletto teams. But so that's my nutshell thought of this. That's why I think this game.
How long did it take you to study for the sommelier exam that is there to be a sommelier in bad football? I mean, like, was it an intense process? Was it
Well,
really?
let's think. So I was born right into it. I mean, well, when I was
This
young,
is
that's not
this is
fair.
the
When I was
origin
young,
story.
yeah, the origin story goes back far. It goes into the 80s. But like my first teams that I really remember well were Burtonette teams, which were emotional, fun-loving teams
Rex.
that played with wild swings.
Yeah.
I mean, they were not good. They were not great football teams, but they had guys on the teams that were. They had NFL talent there. It just wasn't all over. It wasn't a consistent program. That wasn't a well built team. Um, so yeah, I would say my taste for bad football goes way back, and also
Mhm. It's just
I mean,
more
this is different, but I was in Indianapolis when the Colts came there, so that there's got to be. They
the
were
original
horrendous.
Colts. Yes, we're
Yes,
not
they were
very
horrendous.
good.
No.
The Oregon State's line, defense. So I'm sorry, their rush, their defensive line, their defensive front really surprised me because on paper they shouldn't have been that good.
Right.
They didn't really have that much experience. They actually, so of Purdue's, let's say like the 7 rotation offensive linemen, like what, maybe 3 or 4 of them were completely new, like to the system, whether they were freshmen or whether they were graduate
Yeah.
transfers or whether they were the first year really playing. Um, and so, they were hitting a line that needed to gel, that just needed time. I think they individually in the first half showed, that they could play, but they need some time to gel,
Yeah.
which is what a line does. And Oregon State took advantage of that, and that was surprising, and that had me a little bit worried
Had
because
me
what
very
happens.
worried. That first quarter, and that's the other thing. That first quarter, that felt like bad football from Purdue.
Yeah.
To me, really nothing was very good there, right? The defense wasn't in sync. The offensive line looked awful. The play calling was bad. That was like, oh man, we may be in for a really long night. Purdue could lose this thing going away, is what it felt like, right?
Yeah.
So the fact that they did kind of rally so quickly was a big deal to me. That was good to see. It was fun to see.
The fourth quarter, I mean, like, Jack, okay. I think when Jack realized that the tight ends were, targets that could be hit, like that, he was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot about these guys. That was great.
Yeah,
We should do that more often."
we should definitely do that more often. And that's his roommate, so he shouldn't have forgotten.
They are their roommates for real.
Yeah,
Payne Durham,
Payne Durham and Jack Plummer are roommates, and
just an
that was
excellent.
awesome. I didn't give him full credit. 8 of 9, 119 yards. I said 1 touchdown. It was 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. I forgot one of them. Both of them were
Both to
within a
Durham, right?
5-minute period. Say again. Sorry.
Were they both to Durham?
Yep, both to
Yeah,
Durham.
yeah.
But he was just so solid there, and
Mhm.
and we've said this before. When we've watched Purdue teams lose, they lose as a team, right? A lot of stuff goes wrong, right? I mean, like think about the last couple of years. We've been like, okay,
You gotta lose together.
coaching. Yeah, we're gonna lose together,
We're
and they
we're
did.
not one kicker away from this. As we lose, we win together, and we definitely lose together.
Yeah, right on, right on. Think about what you just said though. The kicker was solid, right? The
Oh,
special teams were
how
solid.
cool was it that, like, every time, every kick was just right there? And the other biggest thing that had me worried was, how many times have we seen, so maybe you are right in that, which is not something that I say often, and I want us to
Yeah,
appreciate
yeah.
this. I
Let's
want us to
record this.
appreciate this moment. Like, you know, um, in the past, how many times have we seen, even in the Brom era, which we all have enjoyed, like Purdue leaving points on the field,
No doubt.
whether it's a 0 or a 3 instead of an easy 7. I mean, you're on the half-yard line and you can't get it in, for 7. How many times have we seen that come back to bite Purdue? That's what Purduing it means of late, right?
Right,
Which is
right.
leaving
They
points
really
on the
Purdued it.
field
We say it.
early in the game and then paying for it at the end.
Yeah.
This game was different, where we did leave that we won't ever stop leaving points on the
Right.
field.
Because it's
Let's
too
be
fun
clear.
to get
Let's
all of them.
exactly. But the fact that it was every time it was an automatic 3, which is better than 0, people tell me,
Yeah,
and
I hear that.
that
You're a math
at
guy though.
exact and at the end, it they didn't settle for that. Like, that's when the execution came up, and that's when, it was the full 7 points. The beautiful play call, on, I think it was, what, 3rd and short. Everybody, I think, like, the entire front 7 was expecting a run, and Durham just broke free for that beautiful, what,
If you
60
watch
yard.
that play, there's a really neat detail on that play because I watched it a couple times. He does this weird like duck under move where he avoids the block, but he almost disappears. And he's a big man, but he disappears. He gets my height, and then he comes out and there's no one there. They didn't take him seriously. Good details. That was a big deal.
It was a huge play.
Yeah, somebody said over here how the Mitch Wright says all the kicks seem like they would have been good from 50 plus. Here's what I can tell you. Okay, we've seen the kicker that I can think of right away is Carson Wiggs had an explosive
I love
leg.
me some Wiggs. I love me Wiggy boy.
Wiggy Bank. Yeah, he's a beast. But the ball would explode off his foot. Okay, Finneran, I don't think he has that same explosiveness. But what he does do, the ball gets up high really quickly, which obviously is going to make it harder to block. It was really humid. I think you could see that on TV if you were in the building or in the stadium.
Was it sweaty? Were you sweaty?
It was heavy. It was like there was a drizzle. Like I really wasn't that sweaty, which is unusual. Usually I sweat.
Usually you are 86% sweat.
Yes, exactly.
And I say this as somebody 93%.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you and I are hand in hand there. But it was like the ball didn't travel well because of the humidity. And but the ball was getting up quickly. It didn't look like they were like good from 50. To me, it looked like he's about a 45-yard, 50-yard, 40 to 45 to 50-yard kicker, which I'll take it. He was accurate. That's the biggest thing. And he looked simply cool. He didn't look like he was nervous. Special teams looked solid. One big miscue on the special teams was that early in the game when they had the Bell was interfered with, and he was clearly interfered with. That was a horrible no call. Purdue gets back. They need to kick the field goal. They don't get did they not get the unit on the field in time? And then they got a sideline penalty.
It was the sideline because that was the penalty that we all thought was
Brom
just like complaining and yelling, which is what we were all doing. Right. And then what it turned out to be was the special teams. Like it was a flag on
but it was misconstrued though. I don't know if you heard that. The next part was that he was yelling to the special teams unit to get on the field, get set. The ref thought he was yelling at him. If you watch Brom and Biaggi, the way they interact, Brom like looks at him, he's pissed, but then Biaggi says, I wasn't yelling at the ref.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't that big of a deal. They had to punt, but that was like the biggest miscue, like ugly football of the day for Purdue. And
yeah, I mean, there were a couple, yes, that was the biggest miscue. Well, so there are a couple of special teams miscues, though, right? I mean, and none of them actually led to penalty yardage, but they were all lost timeouts. Which, again, in a close game, if that Durham touchdown wouldn't have been there in a close game, that could have been another area to do that.
That's a good point. Those real weird, useless timeouts, they will hurt in a versus.
But those were all because it was like you were going to get a 12-man on the field, penalty on special teams, or you were they were going for it on fourth down, and you were lined up to play kind of, like front, like normal, like in the nickel. Yeah. And it doesn't really, though that kind of stuff does not speak well on special teams coaching. That being said, that Australian punter that got them inside the 5-yard line was incredible.
Yeah. I wish they would have jumped on a little early. I was really nervous that one of them was going to slip, they were
every time
just down the dang thing. You're inside the 2,
and or they were going to touch it, but their heel was going to be on the thing, and it's like don't mess with that kind of stuff. We've already seen how every way this could go wrong. Yeah. The other two things were was it right? Just let it.
Right through his hands?
Right through his hands, was it? Or who was it?
It was right. It was right. Yeah. You nailed it.
It was just right through his hands, and that would have blown the game open. And
that
absolutely. It would have been at the perfect time. I think was it right before halftime? Anyway,
that's
we don't do research on this show.
It's the same drive that had the fake weird swinging gate, and that was also dropped.
I like that one.
But I like that play.
I love that
But
play.
that was
I
dropped by Durham. I mean, that
That was
pass was
crazy.
on the money.
And
Like,
Durham, like of all the people on the field, you
right.
wanted to be Bell or Durham,
Yep.
and like it's crazy.
Yeah.
That it hit him in the hands, and
Yep.
it was able. And Durham is not small, and it was able to be wrestled away. That was just a really good defensive play. I want to run that. It was like a fake field goal reverse pass, which is like all. I think Spencer Hall was saying all of it is unnecessary and all of it is incredible.
Oh, it's fun.
I love it.
But there were some neat things the things that I liked about number one, I think there were 3 or 4 gadget plays on the day by Purdue.
Mhm.
None of them were ridiculous, like you had to have perfect timing, right?
Yeah.
They were all very, very smartly done. The exchanges were close, like you didn't have to do anything weird. And I liked that a lot because when you get all these guys going misdirection, confuses the linebackers, opens things up. One of the funniest things I think is Oregon State had a trick play that kept backing them up, right? They were back 15, 25 yards, and then they got rid of the ball. Purdue did everything right, assignment correct. They had guys on every hat, right? Somebody there. They still got the ball. I think they gained like 3 yards on a 25-yard, double, reverse option. It was silly. It was totally should have been Purdue, tackles their quarterback for a loss of 20, 21 yards. Instead, they gained 3. And that was like another one of those plays. I was like, man, you're so
Those
close.
are the ones you've got to get.
You got
Those
to
are the
get
ones
those.
that you got to convert. And
So,
so it all in all, you are right. I think that the end of the game leaves you feeling good about the way that Purdue opened the season. The other thing is like we didn't really want to say this out loud the last week, but like, wow, was that kind of a low key high pressure game? Because like
yeah,
if this
yeah.
season is going to be any kind of anything after basically 2 seasons, one completely a throwaway and one legitimate disappointment. If the season was going to be anything, you had no room for a loss, even a quote unquote good loss versus Oregon State. And so this is just a win in the bank. Now we move to a win, a game that I can tell Boiler Down is just very comfortable with. I mean, like we might as well just mark it down as a win. What could go wrong? I say as a Purdue
Well,
fan.
I don't know if you listened to it's a
I'm
lot could go
so
wrong, right?
I'm so petrified. I am so
Exactly.
terrified.
The more you say it, the more petrified you get.
Oh my god. No. Okay.
The fact that
So
you're there makes me more scared than it's UConn. It
J
really
Money.
worries me.
I will be crashing with J Money on
Yeah,
Friday. We may
yeah.
or may not be going, just staring wistfully into each other's eyes, the night beforehand.
There you go. That sounds wonderful.
Be going with J Money Jr. and I think a pal of his to UConn, checking out the incredible stands. I think the stadium is 20,000 people, and I think maybe 4,000 will be there. It's going to be incredible. The last time we were in the Northeast, 14-12, the best football game I have ever seen. Purdue versus a bad Rutgers team. What could go wrong? I say. You know what I found myself thinking a
So,
lot about?
Anish, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
What is the worst loss of Brahms' era? Is it that game, that Rutgers game?
Yes, that is the worst game of football I have ever seen in my life. It
Because both
includes
teams were so
junior
bad
high.
that day.
I've been to junior high school games that were way more entertaining than that.
That's
That
great.
is the worst game I've ever been to. The best part of the game was I was hanging out with Jay Money's family. That was
Yeah.
cool, but
Yep.
like it was hot. The stadium seats weren't very good. Purdue was quite terrible. Like it was just terrible. It was awful.
Yeah. What's the weather going to be in
I don't
store?
know because we thought it was going to be sunny. I hesitate to even check what the weather is going to be like in stores with 2 R's.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, right now it's rainy there. I'll get a
See,
weather report for you.
you got to
But
get.
remember last week it was supposed. Yeah, we have breaking news. Breaking news. Let's see. It's whoa. I don't want to speak.
Okay, is it?
75 and sunny.
Oh, that's what they said last
They
week.
said last week. Exactly. Oh
It's
man.
Connecticut, though. Connecticut is a little more reliable than Indiana, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Um,
So here's the thing. Here's what I've been thinking a lot about in the last week. Like once every 3 weeks, I just find myself in the middle of the workday staring and imagining retirement and just how incredible retirement would be.
Jay's semi-retired right now, isn't he? He
He
lives kind of the
works
retired guy's life.
exactly. He works just for the passion of it.
Yeah.
He doesn't need the
He doesn't
money.
need the
We
money
all
at that
know
point.
that.
What
You know,
did he go? Was it a baker's dozen vacations last year? Is that right?
I mean, is that 43? Is that no? Because he didn't leave the house last year. To be fair to him, but his house is basically a resort in the
Yeah.
in the Alps. I mean,
Yeah.
like we've all seen
I
his
got
house. It's incredible.
every time I turn on the Instagrams, it's Jay in a tropical locale every single day.
Exactly. It's not a background.
No, it's not a green screen.
Tropical lake in the middle of New Jersey.
He's wearing some. What's he usually wearing? Like a Stroh's hat.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Of course.
Um,
No, so last week I was talking about these coaches that would randomly hit me that it just stunned me that Steve Sarkisian was the head coach at Texas.
right.
That
Right.
thing happened like a day before the season with Randy Edsall. Oh my gosh, is Randy Edsall really the coach again at UConn? And it turns out,
Not anymore.
he's not really into it. He's done. He may be the first coach to be fired after coming back to coach that team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of another example.
It's
Yeah,
incredible.
because you think about it, you always talk about the statue job, right? He's literally the statue because he took them into Division One.
And then they
And
fired
they
him.
went to the Fiesta Bowl with him as coach. That's crazy. And you look at them now, it's not ancient history. This is in the last decade. They are a
Now
mess.
we are talking about him retiring midweek. I mean, like he retired. He said he was going to leave, and then
Yeah.
UConn was like, "You should bounce now." And there's a new quarterback, new coach. Their beat writer talked more about relegation to the FCS than they did about their best player.
Yeah.
So
And he kind of said what best player, didn't he? Pretty much.
yeah, when he was talking to Carmen, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
And
he
so
laughed when Carmen talked about what I'm seeing in the margins here. Purdue fans being somewhat worried. You being somewhat worried. He literally laughed. He
yeah,
said, "Don't be." I mean, I've never heard a media person say something like that or react that way.
I don't think he's even going. The UConn beat writer is not going to the Purdue game because they know what's going to happen. So Boiler, did I ask
That is,
you?
by the way, for those of you just listening and you didn't listen to Carmen's show, that is
It's
not an
incredible.
exaggeration. He's literally not going to the game.
It
The
was so
main beat writer is not going to the game.
he sounded so disgusted.
Yes,
He
he
was like,
did.
"My life, I need to get my life in order. I need to figure out what's important to me. I need to figure out, I need to figure out these next steps. I can't be at Purdue,
Like
UConn."
it's the same thing you and I have wrestled with, right? It's the idea I've wasted so much time on this,
Yeah,
and it's
listen,
gotten me nowhere, and it's worse than it used to. We've done that. We've thought about that at different times.
I think about that as much as I think about retirement, which is just like how
A
great would
lot.
it be just to like bounce and like not work anymore. You got the money. Why are you killing yourself? Randy Edsall got a buyout and he gets to retire. I mean,
Yeah.
he's living my actual dream.
I
He's
saw a
living the
picture of
real
Etzel. I hadn't seen him in a little bit, and he looks like what Randy Etzel would look like in old guy makeup. Like he doesn't look like a real old guy. Do you know what I mean? It's like
if
we're
you
watching a
had
sitcom of UConn.
how much money would it take for you just to lay on a couch and read the whole day, every day in your backyard? I mean, like more, like less than what Edsel has. He's got a couple of million in the bank.
Oh, he's
I mean,
got more
like,
than a couple. He should have more than a couple million
and
because
then you
he
lose
got
to
paid a lot
Holy
by Maryland
Yeah,
to
and
walk away.
to walk to leave to bounce,
Yeah.
exactly, the
Yep.
best. Uh, see, then you lose to Holy Cross, and you think, is my life really this in football, by the way, you're
Yeah.
like, "My life is fine. I could
Yeah.
do without this."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I ask you, Boiler Down, what could possibly go wrong with Purdue being dropped into this national story?
Here, let me take a. And I know I'm out of order here, but I think it's a good question to ask. I got to find you. Okay, so Trip Truman, longtime handsome hour listener, I believe, asked a brilliant question regarding what we're talking about, gentlemen. As it stands right now, we are a 34-point favorite versus UConn. It's gone up since it was first announced. Do you believe? Do you believe in which games we are? Oh, okay. How about this question? In the games, I'll just rephrase it because I can't read or he didn't write it right. Not his fault. I'm going to blame me. In the games that Purdue is favored for the rest of the season in total, will Purdue be favored by 34 total points?
Total points? No, absolutely
No,
not. Over
exactly.
under 34 points? Under. I'm taking the
Under.
under.
I agree. I completely agree.
Because
Yeah, I
what's Illinois gonna be? I mean, like 5, 7,
it
maybe.
should be a little more than that based on what they did last week.
Yeah, but I mean, again, there are 2 long weeks in between.
Right, right. Here's the thing, the funny GIF that we see. I'm ready to be hurt again. We say
Yeah,
that all the time, and we joked about it last week. Um, the problem with me is watching the end of the game and seeing a different mentality displayed in the fourth quarter on multiple facets. All that did say to me is like, yeah, I think something
turning the
could happen.
corner. We could score 50 points.
What a stupid jerk. Here's the thing though. Okay, let's focus on the bad for a second because it's been pretty rosy here.
Oh, I love focusing on the bad, baby.
Just for a minute. Purdue's offense really didn't ever look great, right? It didn't click. I didn't see that. Did you see that? Did I
So
miss it?
I saw David Bell.
I mean, David Bell's crazy, and he's such a safety net. This is the thing that makes David Bell a little bit better than Rondale Moore, in my opinion. I know it's sacrilege
It's
for some,
different. It's different.
but the way he did it at the end of the game, that crossing route where all of a sudden he's in the middle of the field, there's no one near him. I don't know how he does it.
So David Bell raises your floor as a passing game,
Yeah, no doubt.
but Rondale raises your ceiling. Rondale makes Rondale makes it so that
Expendable,
any
right?
any play could explode like the Ohio State game, right? But yeah, to have it's safety. I mean, like he is the ultimate safety net, and so you're right. That's why until the fourth, I wasn't feeling great about this because the defense actually did the job. You actually did see a little bit more aggressiveness from the defense. You saw, like, when they kept talking. So a lot of times you do hear that off-season talk of like new system, new mentality, new approach to all of this, and you don't see it pan out on the field. This is a time where you can actually see a real difference. I mean, like it was organized, it was aggressive, they were taking
Yeah.
shots. I mean, like George Karloftis
There was a pass
had,
rush. There was
I mean,
how simple is that? There was a pass rush, and it was disrupting
oh
Oregon
yeah.
State all day
I mean,
long.
you look at Karloftis's line and you like stat line, and it doesn't show that he was just a menace every single down. It was
Yep.
incredible to watch.
Yep.
That will be like on a reel for him, that game. Just his consistency, even if Oregon State's offensive line is actually fine.
They're
But
big.
I like the way that he was just getting to him every single time was
He
so
split
good.
double teams, and you could almost see number one, but every play when they split him out in that sprinter stance, that quarterback looked and pointed. Hey, he's there again. He's
Hmm.
there. He's there.
And Superman, it's a new
Yep. And
Superman.
then he would drop back and he'd see, okay, we picked him up, and then he'd split the double team, and that guy would poop his pants and just throw it. Right? That was wonderful.
Yeah,
So fun to see.
he was so good. And the Graham and the boys from Detroit, or
Mitchell,
no, Grant and Grant and
Trice.
And Trice was incredible. I mean, like, Trice is my favorite. Like, having Trice as a reliable corner, having reliable defensive backs, basically,
Yeah, yeah,
is like, I mean, like, it's a revelation to
yeah,
me.
yeah. Well, Cam Allen played smart. Cam Allen looks like a guy to me. Every time I watch Cam Allen play, like he is about to fight somebody. He's like got this. He's always. I love it. He's playing right on the edge. The problem is there's going to be a cost. I think at some point in the season, he's gonna. He did it last year where he targeted because he hit somebody. He wanted to make their head roll off their,
Yeah.
off their shoulders. So he's playing on the edge, but he hits hard. But he had that interception was very, very important. He read that play beautifully in traffic in a tight area. I think it's really hard, even for the most negative, Michael, people among us. It's
Did
hard to not see that defense is just
was it
amazing improved.
was it Grant that moved to linebacker? Was it Marvin Grant
No,
that moved?
Graham.
Was it Grant? Okay, it was Grant. Okay,
But Graham played.
Jalen Graham,
The funny thing is, he moved to linebacker, but
the
they
other
moved him
Detroit guy.
around.
Yeah,
I don't think interesting factoid. I think he's the only guy on the defense that didn't sit it down.
really.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
macho.
they were great. I mean, like, Purdue's defense was actually like everything you want from them, which is great. 21 points, fine. And even
They,
that
they
seemed
had
like a
given
little
up
much.
7 points in 2.5 quarters,
Yeah,
and the
it's
only reason that they got to 14, really, I think they had a bad. Well, the only reason they got to 21, they went into that stupid zone with the prevent. That was horrible.
yeah.
That was the biggest.
Literally
Like
did it for like
head
half a
scratcher.
drive. Yeah, literally did it for half a drive and they scored
They
immediately.
said,
And
"Okay,
so
no
it's
more of
like,
that."
yeah, yeah. So the negative part is that the offense didn't show up really until the end. And so you're kind of hoping that that is what they carry into UConn. And also, UConn is going to want to punch them quick. Like, UConn is going to want to try to get them a little surprised and on their heels. And everybody is, got UConn jokes all week. And all it has me is anxiety filled. Oh, buddy.
It's easy to be anxious because we're Purdue fans.
Oh, man.
That's it.
I've
That's the
seen
only
this.
reason. That's
I've
the only reason we're
seen
anxious.
this play
I
before. I've
know. I
seen it
know.
at Nevada. I've seen it with Eastern Michigan. Ooh, we've seen it before.
So let's look at so Eastern Michigan. Were they? I'm trying to be serious here. Were they worse or better than that Rutgers team that you?
I think Rutgers was the worst team that we played
Eastern Michigan had a
since
good quarterback.
now.
They
Yeah,
had a good quarterback.
that Rutgers team or that Nevada team were both like awful. This UConn team is probably worse than both of them,
Yeah.
like significantly, which is saying something. But yeah, I think those are the two, like the worst teams that Brahms lost to. Interestingly enough, in that season, so in the 2019 season, which is really kind of the last, you throw away 2020, 2019 season, the last full season that Purdue has had, out of the 4 wins, 2 of them were blowouts, which is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't.
It,
That season.
that was so weird.
Before they played, my head is a little scrambled just because the last 2 seasons, right? You've got the season that, depending on if you're IU or, let's see, pretend you're IU or you're Penn State, right?
Yeah.
2 ends, right? They both say what happened, right?
Yeah.
IU started to buy in clearly to believe that they belong there. The media belong there. The site thinks they belong there. Quickly, they drop out of the rankings, of course. Very interesting. I mean, it's a sidebar, but very interesting situation IU has themselves in because now they've got the 7th or 9th best team in America playing them in Cincinnati.
Yep.
What a horrible, horrible.
And that bad timing. You could have used a cupcake right now.
Right. They sure could have. And all those years of delicious, sweet, cavity inducing.
Cupcakes.
Oh my gosh. Cupcake. Now they've got beasts and they're going to be 0-2. I mean, how about this question? Would you be more surprised? That's an easy question.
No, so it looks they've got Idaho first, and then they go into Cincinnati and then Western Kentucky.
Yeah. Yeah, Idaho first, you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. Idaho, though, Idaho, that I don't think that's the cakewalk that some do because
I
they
don't
scored
know.
68 points.
All of a sudden, all of the Dakotas and the Dakota states are like incredible now. So it's like, I don't know. Who knows, man? Washington lost to, who'd they lose to? Montana?
Yes. Yeah,
Like
Montana.
7-0, 7-3.
Yeah, but Montana, isn't that the team that has the offensive genius that you like?
They fired him a long time
Oh,
ago.
okay.
I think he's
Okay.
somewhere offensive coordinating. Who knows?
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, anybody this is one thing that should hearten Purdue fans. So here's the funny thing. On Twitter right now, a lot of people are saying, "How can you not take UConn more seriously as a Purdue fan?" They're asking me and you and everyone in the
We are
margin.
terrified,
Absolutely.
but
I
we are
mean, but
terrified
here's the
not
big
because of UConn at
right.
all.
It has
Like I
nothing to do with UConn.
no.
It has everything to do with the fact that
Oh,
Anish
it's
and
right here.
Jay are bad fans
This
and they
is
can't
right.
even win at Rutgers. It's their
We're
fault.
there. But what we're doing is we're starting a new streak.
Yeah,
This is
there you
going to
go.
be a streak
A new
of
era.
a new era of wins and nothing but wins. I'm not going to tell you the last time I saw a Purdue victory, a Purdue football victory in person. We're not going to get into those details. Those details are in the past. We're not
Yeah,
going to
'cause when
worry
you guys
about
were
that.
talking last week, I wondered that and I didn't ask the
Let's
question.
not worry about
We're not
let's
gonna worry
not
about it.
get
It's not
bogged down
really
in the
not
details, okay?
the point right now. Yeah. Um, yeah, it's I believe in you. Like you can get it
Thanks,
done.
man. Thanks, man.
But here's the thing. So whether we think that Anisha's ability to yell loudly is the point or not, here's the trick. It's really not. It's all about how Jeff Brom and those young men handled the challenge. Jeff Brom brought them in, I'm told, on Sunday, the whole team, and he named all the Power Five conference teams that had lost the previous week, and all the Division One teams that had lost Division One
Like a
AA.
crazy week, like, right?
Crazy
And
week.
FCS teams beating FBS teams,
Yep.
like non-Power 5 beating Power 5 is wild.
So Jeff Brom is aware, everybody, that as you
What
listen, understand the
the
coach is
entire
very aware.
Pac-12 lost?
Yep.
I don't think. Oh, no, except for Notre Dame, except for
UCLA,
UCLA.
right?
Yeah, I
Yep.
think UCLA was the
In those
one.
magnificent uniforms you were talking about.
Ah, they're so beautiful.
They are.
They're
They
so
really
how
are.
do they not get every recruit just based on their
Because
jerseys?
they
I
look
don't get it.
slick,
It's
man.
they're so good.
Yeah.
And they're in LA, come on.
Yeah. That's a tough thing to argue against. And I got the USC and UCLA cheerleaders. They like when they show the line of them when they're in the white like sweater type things, later in the season.
It's all just class. It's just a good establishment, and
It's a nice
the
establishment. Exactly.
jersey. Oh, they're so good.
They are. But they screwed around with those for a couple of years. They got them back, which is good.
Exactly. And
Good.
don't mess with things that are great. Like there are just certain classic, like
Penn
color
State,
combinations and
Michigan,
jersey
Notre
combinations.
Dame,
Yeah,
UCLA, USC shouldn't mess with their uniforms ever.
you're the uniform. I'm the numbers guy. You're the colors guy.
Yeah, yeah, they should not. They should
We
not.
both write with crayon.
That's right. With smiles on our face, big smile.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
So you're predicting 50 points. We score. You're predicting Purdue
I would
covers the
be here. Okay, so
34-point spread.
there are people on Twitter. There's multiple people, and I don't think um, multiple people are asking questions about how should Brom handle this. There was a question over in the margin. Will Max asked the question? Does AOC see playing time? Here's the interesting thing. You guys probably all saw what I saw when I watched the tape. I noticed on the sidelines that AOC was wearing a safety vest, which looked hilarious to me for some reason. I just thought it looked like he was either wearing something to help keep him from getting lost from his parents,
Yeah.
or to keep from
Like
getting
a
hit by a
construction.
car.
Yeah, exactly. Like construction on the side of the
Yeah,
highway when
yeah.
you're when you're on the night shift.
Did you notice who wasn't wearing one?
No, was Limo
Austin
not
Burton.
wearing Burton?
Austin
I
Burton had his
always
lid on.
I wondered if because what was funny is that fans were talking about the quarterback battle being AOC versus Plummer. When Brom talks about him, the only quarterback he mentions by name is Plummer, and then he says the rest of the guys were really great,
Right.
which some people it took to mean like, hey, he wants to keep it as an open competition, and to me, it was like, I think he likes somebody else in that. It's not AOC. I think he likes somebody else in that group better.
I think the interesting thing, they said it was very straightforward and analytical. They had a scoring system. Plummer didn't separate himself till the very end, but Burton scored very well. I have read that in multiple places. So, I mean, I don't know. Do I think AOC will play on Saturday? Yes. Do I think Burton will play on Saturday? Yes.
Oh, let's be a gambling man, Boiler Dowd.
Yeah.
Does Purdue win by more than 34 points or less than 34 points?
See, this is
I am
you've
not
heard me
comfortable.
talk about this. The
I am
spread
not
stuff.
comfortable.
I would not say they're going to win by more than 34.
If Purdue, so there's for some reason the comment thing isn't working right now. But John Faker, if you beat UConn, nobody cares. But if you lose to UConn, everybody in the country will remember you. Yes, that's exactly what
correct.
we're talking about.
Nothing
Yes.
to gain, everything to lose. Correct.
Yes, for sure. Which is why I will go in with lots of anxiety. Oh, buddy, I was
Yeah.
kind of hoping UConn would be a little better because now, they are the national joke. And the problem is that when you get that stink on you, you become the national joke.
Yep. So I think the key to a big margin of victory is how effectively they run the ball. Because I think you can set up very, very easy long passes against this UConn team if you can run the ball effectively.
Man, if you can't run against this UConn team, who are you going to run against?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like Daru did a little bit. He didn't establish as much. I know
he had a great that like hop sideways run, which was really nifty.
Yeah. All of us at BS want him to go mostly because of the kangaroo.
Oh, I was doing the bouncing kangaroo
because the king.
It out.
I mean, it's great. It's
yes.
perfect when you're in it for the memes.
Yes,
but he was fine. It wasn't great, and I was kind of hoping
Horvath was the best back on the day
for sure.
And he does a lot of stuff with nothing,
It's crazy where he came. Like he literally came. But I guess at running back you can kind of do that. Like running back is the most common position where you can go from kind of last in the depth chart to all of a sudden you're the feature back, which is basically what Horvath has done. It's awesome.
He's done it with hard work. You look the way the dude looks. I mean, he clearly doesn't ever skip any day, leg, arm, upper body. He works out all the time. It's funny. Daru talks about it and makes no apologies. Daru talks about Horvath is faster than him, and
which is wild. He's huge. He's
it's amazing. It's amazing. He makes a lot out of nothing. So I'm really pleased with him. So you agree with me? You wouldn't bet the over, right? On that.
Oh no, like Purdue taking
Purdue to cover.
More?
Purdue to cover.
Not at all. Nope. Nope.
Nope.
I'm staying away. I am hoping that I just go and see a very boring victory. Give me like 28-11. I'm perfectly fine.
That's enough.
Completely uneventful. Great. I go just no disaster, please.
I would be upset if Purdue didn't score more than 40 points.
I would be happy if it's boring and nobody remembers and everybody just continues.
Yeah, I get that. But they need to do some things versus bodies other than Purdue players to get ready. I think Notre Dame is going to be. I've said it. I just think Notre Dame's very, very good.
They're going to steamroll.
Yeah, they've got so much talent all over the field, and they've got the way that safety, the way he anticipated versus Florida State. I think
Mackenzie Milton is still a thing. Were you watching that game?
He's old, man.
State? Yeah, he's like 7th year or something like that.
It had been 3 years since he had played, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was when what's his name was at UCF, right?
Yeah,
I mean, like he was Scott Frost's last kind of the thing that got him this dream job that he's been acing so far.
It was neat. It was neat the way he got in the game, and I don't know if you saw that exchange. That was really cool when the guy who got pulled, kind of banged on the helmet and said, "Go get him." I was like, "That's pretty cool." And he probably
Mackenzie Milton. That's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. He understands.
That's awesome. And I was hoping that I mean, like it would have been cool if Notre Dame would have fallen on their faces. But I'm pretty sure they're going to just, Purdue's going to need to bank these 3 wins in these other 3 wins in September because, oh boy.
Yeah. Hey, this is a question for you from Twitter from our pal Handle Jones.
Ready.
I can't answer the question because I didn't see it.
Indeed.
So, which commercial bothered you the most over the weekend? Remastered Big Ten commercials or the Applebee's commercial?
Oh, the Applebee's commercial. Are you talking about
Is that the country one?
the
Is that the one he's referring?
yeah, yeah. What
That's
there
horrible.
were like 14 different storylines in that commercial. I had no idea what was going on. I don't know why they were advertising Applebee's. I don't understand any
So
of it.
when you saw it, it didn't make you want to go eat good in the neighborhood right afterwards.
Listen, I don't think
Some nice microwave
Applebee's
chicken.
this Applebee's has got me with I'm not gonna lie. I've been to Applebee's before, and it was mostly to see how many appetizers I could eat to really test their unlimited appetite. Really, really, you got unlimited pot
I'll
stickers.
see about that.
You want to see? Well, let's just keep them coming. Give me all of the pot stickers you have, ma'am.
I'm eating a bag of those things.
Yeah,
That's the thing. So like
they all
their
come in bags, by the
appetizers,
way.
their appetizers are really no different than what you get at Sam's Club.
Yeah, no, they are the same thing.
They have better grease to fry it in than my house. I can tell you that much. We usually use an air fryer. So
you know what? You never know. It depends on the Applebee's that you go to. Applebee's, sponsors of the Bold Sports Podcast.
oh, speaking of sponsors, we got to give a shout out. We got great news to all you guys listening. We big week this week. I reached out to all of our sponsors, and they're all back this year in spite of what Jay does to embarrass us.
Let's be honest, we all embarrass ourselves. We all carry. That's the one area where we carry our weight. You know,
and yet these companies, Gridiron Metalworks, Martin Vintage, and AJ's, still want to be associated with us. We are grateful and thankful. And if you're on campus, grab a pint and a burger at AJ's. If you need a gift, call Derek at Gridiron Metalworks.
Gridiron is now doing drinkware, so take your drinkware and go to AJ's.
There you go.
And pretend you just drink. I don't say do this, but I say it's not a thing that could
give it a try. Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah. And then, of course, MartinVintage.com.
You're wearing your Martin Vintage
exactly.
shirts.
Yeah, exactly. Do the whole thing.
Beautiful.
Support your BS family. So
MartinVintage.com. Enter boiled at checkout for percentage.
Yeah. So good question here by my pal Mike, PU Fall Cities. Can you bring that one up, or do we have the capability?
I can't. For some reason, the bringing up the question thing is not working today.
Okay.
The machine is a little bit broken.
This is a great question.
I'll change out the hamster wheel.
Yeah, you got to do it or clean it out. Something.
Yeah. You're right.
Which player would you like to see play that hasn't seen the field yet?
I mean, Yanni, right?
I think that's the first one, right? I mean, the guy that I still want to see, and I don't know if he played. Maybe you guys can help me answer, fans. Maybe you can answer it, Anish. Did Yassine play?
I don't think so. I don't think if he did, it wasn't really like notable. But yeah, to me, the answer there is like I want to see Yanni play, and I want to see Yanni and Karlaftis kind of share the field even for a little bit. I think we do at the in the middle to the end of the season, but I do also think like linebacker depth, especially now with Graham moving to
Graham moving
up.
Yes.
Yeah, Graham moving up.
Scrimmage. Yep.
Let
me ask you a question because I've got this is a spinoff of that what you just said, and we can go back to other players that we want to see. But is there any player? Because I think of one right away that you are really pleased with his progress. Like he looks vastly improved. Anyone that you can think of? Because I can give you one if you can't.
Yeah, go ahead. You go ahead with yours. Let me think.
I thought Alexander looked incredibly good. Like he was really active. If a guy got near him, he made the tackle. I was very pleased with that, and that's an important part. You were just referencing the linebackers. I thought he looked great. So if I'm going to say one most improved after one game.
You're giving out hardware right now.
Yeah, right now. Yeah, the early season award.
I mean, honestly, to be completely honest, I was relieved just to see like Jack be able to finish the game like that. I was relieved that the year of David Bell was not a mirage. Like David Bell is real and he is incredible.
Exactly.
I mean, like I was great. the one trick play aside, Payne Durham was great, which is like if Purdue's offense is going to be good, the tight ends are both going to have to be,
Yep.
incredible. And so
I don't think
to
we saw
like in safety
Bilodeau
valve,
either. There's
we
another guy.
didn't we
Yep.
didn't see Bilodeau. And so to like, and those are safety valve options, which
Yep.
is great.
Yep.
You're hoping to see another wide receiver, especially a deep threat,
Yeah.
because all of those guys are underneath guys, even Bell.
Yeah.
That's why, I mean, it would have been great if a normal season would have been there for Bell and
Right.
Rondell because they attack in completely different ways, right? But like you want to see one of the receivers take the top off the defense. But um, honestly, I was so not as much most improved, but I was just happy to see these guys like perform at the level that I was hoping to. Again,
Right.
I was a nervous wreck like coming into the game. I'm a
Yeah.
nervous wreck going into UConn. I'm just hoping that Purdue comes out
Right.
not being embarrassed. So to me, it's like holding serve is a victory for me.
Yep. Yeah, Jared Gallama, my pal, reminds me that or tells me that Yassine was out last game, so he didn't
Yeah.
play. Another guy that I think everybody wants to see play on offense is Marcellus Moore. At least if you're me,
Yeah, for sure.
but he was in special teams. All he did, I don't even know if he touched the ball because they blasted it over his head when he came in, because I think he came in the second half to return kicks and he didn't touch the ball and he didn't get it on offensive play as far as I know. So.
Do we see a defensive or special teams touchdown this week? We were hoping for one last week. Do we see defensive points or a special teams touchdown?
Okay, here I'm gonna say, I'll say sure. Why not? and why I think we'll get one. I think you'll have a strip and score.
There you go.
I think about Karlaftis.
There you go. We're waiting for it. We're going to call it every week until it happens.
There we go. Exactly. It'll eventually happen. It's going to be magical. Another neat thing on defense I thought was cool was Washington playing on defense, playing tackle.
That was strange.
It was strange. And they said they're probably going to move him back. But.
So I didn't read anything about that. And he was fine, actually. He
was good. He was good.
So why are they going to move him? Just let him be.
They say they need more depth on the offensive line than they do on defensive line. But yeah, I thought he looked good. He looked like he was having fun. That was neat to see. He's a big, strong guy too. If nothing, he leaned on some people, really pushed the pocket back. They couldn't, it's funny. I thought, and remember, I'm a Neal fan. I thought he looked better than Neal. Because Neal was so out of shape when he was playing last time. Really,
last year. I mean, again, this is all like COVID year. It is what it is, right?
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions? Any other questions in the hopper?
Oh well, let me just say, Jared Gallama again says Cam Allen pick six. I think that's a good guess. And I think if you're gonna put him into what is it, Yahtzee, or what's the one you shake the?
That is definitely we're gonna call it Yahtzee because I enjoy
okay. So I would put Trice's name in there too. I think that'd be a good one.
I love Trice, man. I've loved Trice since he first walked on the field. That dude is awesome. That dude plays with passion and energy, and he is an insane cornerback. Cornerbacks have to be insane. Trice is an insane cornerback. I love
it. His game saver, the seam route, he stuck with stride for stride, knocked it away.
And then bang.
Thing of beauty.
Perfect timing.
Let me see. Do we have any more? So I got final confirmation for you, listener out there, watcher. Jay will not be able to make the show. He had something very important to attend to. We would have made fun of him more if it wasn't. In all seriousness.
I know. I feel bad making fun of him. However, I will make fun of it. I will make up for it this weekend, making fun of him. Keep your eyes on the BS Instagram, probably, which is where we might be going live from a campfire near awesome. the New Jersey area. We will be in attendance in UConn, so if any of you cursed souls are going to be also there at UConn with us, please say hi if you see us.
I think there's gonna be a solid Purdue contingent.
I mean, what are UConn fans gonna do? Go to the game? Yeah. So Absolutely it's like, not. It's just degenerates like us in the New York City area that are all gonna drive up, and it's gonna be what it is. Yeah, that'll be great. So if anybody sees
I got one question. Well, I'll see what I'll just Z Young from Twitter says uniform choice this week is black lids, white shirts, black pants. Looks like we're in black shoes, black socks, really solid looking. He says he's the only person wishing for an old gold jersey instead of white. So let me weigh in on this first.
I also wish for that.
Yes, but old gold jersey is a pipe dream. They don't have an old gold in the palette first.
It's not the gold we want. So I wouldn't even mind the gold, the whatever gold, the Nike gold, just because it's something different. It's something cool. The white jerseys are lame. I'm saying
Yeah.
it. The white jerseys are lame, except
You don't
for
like that uniform, the black, white, black?
The astronaut jersey is cool. That black, white, black is fine. It's generic.
Okay.
It's
All
meh.
right. Yeah, I think at least it looks tough. Like that's the
It's
thing I like
okay.
about it. So
It's okay. It's a
yeah.
fine whatever look. I'm not really.
Would you rather see gold lids on the road?
Yeah, of course. I'm
Okay.
always a gold lid. Yes.
Yeah.
Give
All right.
me the
Okay.
gold lids. But and
Greg
my
McManus asked a great question for Jay. Is he closing another property? Yeah.
right outside of UConn, we're going in on
He
it
bought a
together.
weekend house for one weekend.
Exactly. Exactly. We were just going there. We're going to spend it. We didn't Airbnb because why Airbnb when you can invest in such a great property market right now? It's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
It's
It's
fine.
awesome.
We're closing.
Right.
So it's
Right.
great.
Yeah.
But I think both of our names are going to be on the deed. Are there deeds anymore? I don't know.
Yeah.
It seems like an Old West kind of thing, right? When
does.
was the last time you got a deed?
Yeah.
You see, deeds are usually involved in like heists, right?
Yep.
So it's
Yep.
like, I don't want one because
And
then
it
somebody's
would
going to
say
want to steal
deed
it.
really big on in like a really like cool font on the
Yeah,
top, handwritten.
exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. If it doesn't say if your mortgage papers doesn't say mortgage in fancy lettering on the top, you don't have to pay it. Those are the rules.
Yeah, that I think it's a federal law actually.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
um,
Exactly.
let's see. Is there anything else? Uh, did you your official, because I don't know if we really have a predicto here other than we think Purdue should win by a lot.
Yo, Purdue wins. I just
But you
want a
don't want to. I
comfortable.
noticed you don't want to
No,
really say it because
I'm not going. I'm going
you're not gonna
under. Like I'm saying, UConn covers the spread, but I don't think Purdue will score enough points because basically Purdue's got to score over 40 points to do that. I don't think Purdue does.
I think so.
Purdue
Here,
still
I'm gonna.
stays in
I'll
the
make.
30s.
I said it earlier. I think Purdue will score over 40.
Okay.
I don't think they're gonna. I think it's a lot to ask to score over 50 right now.
Yeah, I mean
I
there
think-
are a lot of good ones. Oh, a good one from
Good.
PU Falls Cities. How was the
Yes.
new video board?
Awesome. It's
I
awesome.
got texts from a bunch of friends who were in the audience that were like, I didn't know the video board and the audio system needed to be replaced. And then I looked at it and it was incredible.
So good. So good. I
Now
agree, Mike.
imagine
It
if they
was.
had real seats, like box seats there. You would be like a real
Oh
stadium.
wow! It's like a real stadium almost. Exactly. No, it was notably better. It was great. Like the images were so crisp and clear. It almost looked like science fiction. It was so perfect. Like I was like, whoa, because we sit
Yeah,
on the.
holograms.
What'd you say?
Like
Hologram?
holograms.
Yes, it was so clear, and it's one of those things where you need that, and you need a game day experience type of thing. Obviously, being in the stadium, there's a feeling, and that sort of thing's great. But that's another feather in the cap of Purdue. That's really big time looking. I do think they have to fix that end zone.
Morgantown.
Gosh, they got to get rid of Morgantown. And the funny thing is, Morgantown used to be like, right, you got your. You could go get your beer in there, right? That was the cool thing. Well, now you can get beer anywhere in the stadium. They have beer and wine all over the stadium. So they don't even have that. So now it's just like a really lame cookout, like we were saying.
Yeah.
Time to move on. Time to move on.
Oh, come on. Just build a structure. Build a pergola. Something.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I think they have a pergola. I think they have a pergola.
My fault.
Yeah.
That's my fault.
Goodness
That's my
gracious.
fault. I apologize. I would like to apologize into the ether. I do not think Purdue scored. So if it's the over under Purdue scoring is 42, I will say I will take the under there. But I will still think I still am praying and hoping for a comfortable, boring victory against UConn with me and Jay in attendance, starting a trend of me and Jay attending wins by Purdue instead of heartbreaking, terrible, or otherwise miserable losses.
That sounds awesome. I think that's a good prediction itself. Everybody out there, if you guys haven't done this, if you don't follow us on the gram, Michael decided to branch out a little this week and did some pretty funny stuff.
Yeah.
So check it out. It's there. It's archived.
And we'll be on
Um,
there. We'll be on there all
yep.
weekend. Answer it. Like just send us questions anywhere, and we will answer them. Maybe we'll ask it on the IG story to get. We'll collect questions that way.
It's a good idea. It's a good
Yeah,
idea.
we'll do. Yeah, we'll do that and just
Earn
send it
your
and
boiled
we'll.
sports salary, guys.
I know, I know.
Work
I
while you're
really we took the summer off and now we're coming back with a vengeance as Purdue
Yep.
marches to 12 wins.
There we go. Boom. Bingo, bango, bongo. It's going to happen. Yeah. So thanks to everybody who tuned in live. Anish, thanks for being here. Jay, thanks for not being here.
Indeed.
Yeah. One more thing I want to address, and you guys can talk about it in Twitter or someplace else. Michael called himself, did he say vindicated with his prediction?
I don't think he knows what that word means.
That's what I said. I completely agree.
He keeps using that word, and I don't think he knows what it means.
I don't think. You're. Are you quoting Princess Bride there? Because
exactly.
you're perfect. That's exactly the right thing to do right there. I don't know how to say it to him, but he was not vindicated. His prediction of poor vanilla play calling down the stretch and that being one of Purdue's Achilles' heels and everything.
Listen, if you say it with enough confidence, it makes it true.
Right. Well, we've learned that a lot in the last couple of years, so no doubt about it. But even though he doesn't know what the word vindicate means, he's quite good at the Instagram.
Well, it's fine. We will accept his apology. He's real busy with his big old belt buckles and his absurdly large hats down in Texas.
How many acres was it? 1,000 acres that he was?
Yeah, I mean, 1,200. Yeah, but
and so he's got hundreds of steer too, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think he's also named them all. He only just moved down there, so he's branding them one by one. He's branding them in very different ways, and in solidarity, he's also branding himself. So
that's cool.
It's a big fall project for him.
Yeah,
I hope it goes well. I hope it goes well. Rootin' tootin', Michael down there.
Pistolas. Yeah. It's exciting to see.
It's exciting times. We're going to be there. We'll see you at UConn.
Yep.
Thanks for joining.
Love you guys. Good night.